A small-town substitute teacher arrested for an inappropriate relationship with a student. But here's the twist. She's the mayor's daughter and married to the police chief. Talk about a scandal that rocked this Oklahoma community to its core. So how did this all unfold? Well, it started with some Snapchat messages and secret classroom meetings. But as the investigation dug deeper, a web of lies, cover-ups, and family connections began to surface. Let's break down this shocking case and see how justice was served. A small town's dark secret unravels. All right, let's talk about Wellston, Oklahoma. This tiny town of just over 800 people is about to become the center of a scandal that'll shake its foundations. Now, in a place where everyone knows your business, you'd think it'd be hard to keep secrets. But sometimes, the biggest secrets are hiding in plain sight. So here's what happened. Emma Hancock, a 26-year-old substitute teacher, seemed like your average small-town educator. But man, did she have connections? Her dad? None other than the town mayor. And her husband? Well, he's the police chief. Talk about a power couple, right? Now, you might think having all that influence would keep you on the straight and narrow, but for Emma, it looks like it might have had the opposite effect. See, in October 2022, things started to get real weird at Wellston High School. It all began with some Snapchats. At first, nothing too out of the ordinary. Just a teacher chatting with a student. But then, things took a dark turn. We're talking nude photos, explicit videos, the whole 9 yards, and the recipient, a 15-year-old student. Now, understand this. In a town like Wellston, news travels fast. When rumors started flying about a teacher and a student, people took notice. It's not just gossip at this point, it's a full-blown scandal. But here's where it gets even more complicated. Remember those connections I mentioned? Emma's not just any teacher. She's the mayor's daughter and the police chief's wife. That's a whole lot of influence for a small town like Wellston. So now we've got a situation where the lines between personal relationships and professional duties are getting real blurry. How do you investigate when the suspect is so closely tied to the very people in charge of the investigation? And let's not forget about the victim in all this. A 15-year-old kid, probably just trying to navigate the already tough world of high school, now caught up in something way bigger than they ever bargained for. This isn't just about a teacher crossing a line. It's about power, influence, and how they can be abused. It's about a whole town caught in the crossfire of one person's actions. But hold on, because this story's just getting started. The unraveling of this secret is going to expose cracks in the foundation of Wellston that nobody saw coming. Think about it. In a town this small, how many people knew something was off but didn't say anything? How long had this been going on before someone finally spoke up? And what happens to a community when trust in its leaders is shattered? These are the questions that are going to keep Wellston residents up at night. Because when the dust settles, they're going to have to figure out how to move forward. How do you rebuild trust in your schools, your police force, your local government when something like this happens? Snapchat, secrets, and school closets. Let's talk about how this whole mess started. You might think a teacher-student relationship like this begins with some grand gesture, but the truth is far more mundane, and that's what makes it so chilling. It all kicked off on October 6th, 2022. Just another day at Wellston High, right? Emma Hancock's subbing, and she needs to send out an FFA assignment. So she gets this 15-year-old kid's number. Seems innocent enough, doesn't it? But that same night, boom. Snapchat friend request. Now here's where things take a turn. Those Snapchats, they start off normal. But within weeks, we're not just talking about homework anymore. Nope, we're in full-on sexting territory. We're talking nude pictures, explicit videos, the whole 9 yards. And it happened fast, folks. In just a matter of weeks, all those professional boundaries, gone. Check this out. Snapchat isn't just any messaging app. Those messages, they disappear. It's like a predator's dream come true. Perfect for hiding evidence, perfect for keeping secrets. And that's exactly what Emma and this student were doing. But it didn't stop at messages. Emma and this student, they're meeting up at school. And I'm not talking about after-class tutoring sessions. Court documents show they were sneaking around, hiding in closets and pantries during lunch breaks. They're kissing, they're touching, all while everyone else is going about their day, none the wiser. And get this, she's even letting the kid use her vape pen. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was in school, sharing a vape with a teacher wasn't exactly on the curriculum. This is classic grooming behavior, folks. It's all about blurring those lines between teacher and friend, adult and peer. Of course, in a school this small, people start to notice. Other students are seeing things, hearing things. Rumors start to spread. But here's the kicker. Emma's not worried. In fact, she's downright cocky about it. According to the court documents, she told the student it wouldn't amount to anything because they weren't going to get caught. Now, let's break this down for a second. We've got a teacher, someone in a position of trust and authority, telling a 15-year-old kid that their illegal, immoral relationship is going to fly under the radar. That's not just confidence. That's a serious case of delusion. But here's the thing about secrets in small towns. They have a way of getting out, and when they do, they explode. Emma's little house of cards was about to come tumbling down in a big way. The investigation, unraveling the web. Just when you thought Emma Hancock's secret was safe, investigators were about to pull a digital rabbit out of the hat. How did they crack a case built on vanishing messages? Well, buckle up because this is where things get really interesting. So, we've got a small town scandal involving the police chief's wife and the mayor's daughter. But here's the kicker. How do you investigate when the suspects got those kinds of connections? Enter the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. They got called in November 2022 when the local folks realized this was way above their pay grade. Now, you'd think with all those Snapchats flying around, there'd be a mountain of evidence, right? Not so fast. Here's the problem. Snapchat messages are like smoke signals in the wind. They're designed to disappear after being viewed. So investigators were left scratching their heads, trying to piece together what happened with barely a digital footprint to follow. But here's where it gets good. The OSBI wasn't about to let this one slip through their fingers. They started interviewing the student, other kids at the school, basically turning over every rock in Wellston. They were building a case, but man, it wasn't easy. And all the while, Emma Hancock's playing it cool. Remember, she's got connections. She probably thought she was untouchable. I mean, who's going to believe a 15-year-old kid over the police chief's wife and the mayor's daughter, right? But here's where the tables turned. The investigators managed to get a search warrant for Emma's Snapchat account. And what do you know? They found videos related to the incident. Suddenly, this case wasn't looking so flimsy anymore. Now, this is a big deal. Because even though Snapchat messages are supposed to vanish into thin air, it turns out law enforcement can still retrieve certain data through legal means. It's like finding footprints in the sand after the tides come in. Tricky, but not impossible. This whole situation shines a light on how suspects with local connections might think they can navigate the justice system differently. Emma probably felt like she had a get-out-of-jail-free card in her back pocket. But here's the thing about small towns. Secrets have a way of getting out, no matter who you're related to. The case against Emma was building, brick by digital brick. And suddenly, all those reassurances she gave the student about not getting caught weren't looking so solid. It's a stark reminder that in the digital age, nothing ever really disappears completely. Conclusion. So here's the final twist in Emma Hancock's case. Despite all the evidence, the jury found her not guilty on 3 major counts. But don't think she's walking away scot-free. She still got hit with 2 felony convictions, landing her a 6-year prison sentence. Now, she might only serve 4 if she plays by the rules, but here's the kicker. She's gotta register as a sex offender. Now, let's put this in perspective. Teacher-student misconduct cases like this, they're not all cut and dry. Conviction rates can be all over the map, and sentences can range from a few years to decades. It all depends on how serious the charges are and what went down. So here's the bottom line. Even in a small town like Wellston, where Emma's got connections, the truth has a way of bubbling up. But justice? It's not always black and white. Sometimes it's a messy shade of gray,